The National Institute of Oceanography and Fisheries is one of the national research institutions affiliated with the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research in Egypt. It is the first research institute specialized in oceanography and fisheries in Africa, the Middle East, and the Arab region. It is one of the premier institutes of its kind in the world, as it implements its policies through different research programs aimed at the subjects of oceanography, fisheries, and aquaculture. The National Institute of Oceanography and Fisheries was established in 1918 by Sultan Fuad I, known as the Royal Institute of Marine Biology in Al-Shatbi area in Alexandria. The institute was under the management of the Egyptian Department of Fisheries. Then it was transferred to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and was known as Fuad I Institute for Marine Biology, where it was moved to its current location next to the Qaid Bay Castle in Anfushi. In 1954, the name was changed to the Republican Institute of Marine Biology and Fisheries. The National Institute of Oceanography and Fisheries was established following the Presidential Decree No. 436 in 1986, aimed at establishing an organizational and functional structure to achieve the objectives of the Institute. The structure includes 4 main branches in Alexandria, Red Sea, Suez, and Aqaba Gulfs, the internal waters of Anatar, as well as 9 research stations serving all water resources in 10 governorates. The main objective of the National Institute of Oceanography and Fisheries is to achieve the sustainable development of fresh and seawater resources through preserving water resources, preventing all sources of pollution, tackling poverty, and improving living standards through research studies focused on the development and introduction of new techniques in fisheries and aquaculture. The Institute's journey is inseparable from the giving journey of one of its distinguished pioneers and researchers, King of the Red Sea, Dr. Hamid Gouhar, started his first extensive oceanography research in Egypt and the Arab world. He served as the director of the Marine Biology Station in Hurghada since its inception and continued to hold this position for 40 years. He also established a marine museum in Hurghada and a library that includes most of the essential references for the study of the Red Sea. In addition to establishing a Marine Biology Institute in Suez, he published the Dictionary of Biology and Agriculture, and he was awarded the State Award in Sciences in 1974. His museum and possessions in Hurghada are the greatest evidence to our rich and eventful history. The National Institute of Oceanography is indebted to him for many of his scientific and research contributions today. Al-Maks Research Station includes a 38-acres farm, 16 basins cultivated with fresh and seawater fish, a fodder factory, and a central workshop. This year, work started in March, and by November it was time to harvest, where the farm produced 25 tons this season. This branch serves the Egyptian people and provides research results to increase production in a way that fills the current food gap. The Aquarium and Maritime Museum are considered key touristic attractions in the city of Alexandria. The Institute has implemented environmental protection initiatives aimed at raising societal awareness of the importance of the preservation and purification of beaches, such as plastic pollution-free beaches, in celebration of the International Ocean Day and the preservation of the marine environment. The Institute conducted several research projects in Hurghada, such as the cultivation of coral reefs and the development of new environments to attract economically viable fish, and it achieved extraordinary success. The cultivation of marine weeds to raise fish and provide shelter for larvae. The exploitation of marine algae as fodder after the addition of flavorings. The purification of the seabed. One of the objectives of the Institute is to assist in food security by establishing productive research fish farms. Al Sar Farm is considered one of the largest experimental fish farms serving the governorates of the Ahliya and Dumyot. It covers an area of 70 acres, 40 acres of which are currently cultivated. The Institute was successful in increasing acre productivity from 2.5 tons in the previous years to 3.7 tons this year, which is considered a first in Egypt. The Institute has 2 research vessels, Salsabil and Yarmouk, which were awarded to the Egyptian government by the government of Japan in 1988. They were transferred to the Institute from the Egyptian Fisheries Company, which is affiliated with the Ministry of Agriculture in 1988 after it was received in 10 years. The 2 vessels are considered the only ones in Egypt equipped with the latest technology and able to carry out the task of surveying the Egyptian beaches. and meeting the national needs of the country for field research within the territorial and economic waters in the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Suez and Aqaba. An extension of the leading and pivotal role played by our naval forces that renovated the two vessels after they stopped working for almost 4 years. The National Institute of Oceanography and Fisheries is a house of expertise in scientific research that provides technical and economic advice to all national authorities in Egypt, notably the Ministry of Environment and Petroleum. It also contributes to feasibility studies, private sector, industrial, and civil society projects. The Institute alumni helped in establishing oceanography and marine sciences departments in different Egyptian and Arab universities. The Institute has distinguished international relations with various research authorities in many countries around the world. The Institute is considered to be the national focal point for the International Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO. The Institute aims to be one of the leading research centers able to stay up to date with the latest developments in the field of oceanography and fisheries to meet the requirements of the national strategy of the Vision of Egypt 2030 to achieve the sustainable development of water resources in line with the global vision of the United Nations and to meet the objectives of the World Oceans Decree.